Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of your Westland City Council to order. We will begin tonight's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilwoman Emily Bauman.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bauman, for leading us in the pledge this evening. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bauman. Present. Councilwoman Martin. Present. Councilwoman Rakowski. Present. Councilwoman Sampe. Present. Councilman Sullivan.
Here.
Pro Tem Maxwell. Present. Council President McDermott.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Okay, we have a couple of special announcements and presentations before we get this meeting started. We're going to start first with our State Representative Dylan Wagella, who is going to provide us with a legislative update from Lansing. Representative Wagella.
Hi, everybody. Thanks. I promised our council president I would keep this short. First off, I'm State Representative Dylan Wagella, representing Garden City, Inkster, Southeast Westland, and Northeast Romulus. Couple things. First off, as has been for the past year and several months, legislation in Lansing, by and large, is at a standstill due to divided power, Republicans controlling the House and Democrats controlling the Senate and the governorship. I think we've seen almost a record low number of bills signed into law this session compared to any other ones. But a couple of things that I've been working on that I just want to keep highlighting, continuing to take on DTE in Lansing. You might have seen that DTE is starting to charge our consumers for paying by credit card or debit card. I worked to introduce legislation that would repeal them from being able to do that, would essentially ban them from being able to charge fees. I view this action from DTE as a way to kind of get around a rate and approval at the Michigan Public Service Commission. They're finding new ways to raise revenue on us. Staying on that topic, we saw in the news recently reported for every dollar or so that we pay to DTE, 16% of the rates that are paid are essentially going back to shareholder profits. I think that is an incredibly high amount and totally unacceptable. So one of the things I'll connect this to is this issue that's been going around the state of Michigan is we've seen just dozens of data center projects flock to the state of Michigan. So I wanted to thank all of you for being forward-thinking and passing a moratorium here. At the state level, I've introduced, working with Republicans actually, to introduce a legislation that would hopefully put a one-year moratorium across the state, and as well as repeal the use and sales tax exemptions that were passed that are kind of attracting these to the state of Michigan. My position is I don't think we should be giving tax breaks from the state of Michigan to some of the wealthiest corporations in this country. Considering what we've seen is where these have come into states, we've seen drastic increases in electricity rates for states that have allowed data centers to open at mass. So the two big projects we have in the state of Michigan coming here, there's plenty more than that, is in Saline Township. That project alone is using enough energy to power 1 million homes. And the one coming to Van Buren Township is using enough energy to power about 2 million homes. So obviously, DTE is very excited about the amount of electricity these will use. There's a ton of environmental issues that go along with data centers. I won't get into them all tonight, as I'm sure some of you are aware, but one thing I just will continue to highlight is, effectively, there's more regulation in this country in terms of selling a sandwich than there is on artificial intelligence. So I believe we need to slow things down and put in regulations to protect the working class on artificial intelligence. And me and some colleagues in Lansing are working towards that end, as well as some people are federally. But I think if we don't do something to take on artificial intelligence, we risk AI replacing millions of working class jobs around this country, concentrating wealth and power. So if you've been paying attention, I'm on Corporate Subsidies and State Investment Committee in Lansing, and a big focus of what we've been doing over the last couple months is holding public testimony on artificial intelligence, but also data centers. I'll mention one other bill that I'm getting ready to introduce, working with Representative Farhat out of Dearborn, is a bill that would ban private equity firms from buying single-family homes, with the idea that our single-family homes should be saved for us, working class people, to buy them rather than people that are just buying them to hold them as investments, these giant equity firms that are worth millions of dollars. I'll keep it brief. If people want to get in contact with our office, we're continuously working to solve constituent service cases. You can get a hold of us by sending an email to dylanwigella@house.mi.gov, or you can call the office at 517-373-3818. And I promise to keep it brief, so those are my short Cliff Note updates.
Thank you, Representative Wigella. Appreciate it. And is the Congresswoman's office ready to present the check or no? Okay, all right. And then, Mr. Hornbuckle, are you ready for Escott?
I can start and hopefully come in.
Okay.
Had to break up from training, so I apologize. But this is important for the city to know. I'm Delano Hornbuckle, Director of Development for Escott. Emmanuel Stewart, Champions of Tomorrow, a 100% free program for kids, for tutoring, mentorship, and also youth boxing. Today, we are proud to stand here before the council to celebrate something amazing that happened. Over the last week, you may have heard of the Golden Gloves. It's one of the biggest amateur boxing in Metro Detroit. We sent 9 kids there. And 5 of them came home champions. Today, I'm carrying one of our champion belt just to show it off. Trying to buy some time for our other guy to come in. But this is significant. The investment that you guys, the city, the community, invest in these kids to be able to be well-rounded people in our community is awesome. And we just want to show and thank everyone here and also the community for investing in our kids. So like I mentioned, 9 of our kids fought, 5 came home with championships, 2 runner-ups, and my fighter
Coming in right now.
from coming through the door now. But this is Darren DJ coming through the door now. And we want to celebrate him because he's not only a champion, but he has the whole weight of Westland on his back.
Delano, sorry.
Yep, sorry. He got the whole, trying to get him in here. He got the whole weight of Westland on his back because he's representing Westland in the National Golden Gloves. Man, right on time, right? Just like a champ. DJ has a unique story. We would love to share it to you. But tonight we just want to have everyone cheer him on, keep him in your prayers, and encourage him to bring home the championship belt back to Westland. So thank you, City Council. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Police. Thank you, Fire. Everyone in this room, thank you. And all I can say, man, we're proud of you, DJ. Go, DJ. Thank you.
He's a real belt collector there, man. Congratulations and good luck.
Great job.
And here's his belt.
Yeah, Delano, you want a photo? We can do a photo.
If you would like to get a photo with them, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, if they want to come up here. You guys want to come in behind or just stand behind? Yeah, you can come and stand behind.
Are we going
Bear, do you
down,
want
or
to, Bear, do you want to come?
Here, here. Let's scooch in.
Yeah, we can scooch in.
This works.
How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Makes it a little more compact, you know? All right. Take home. Okay.
All right, everyone here, and 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Thank you, guys.
All right. Go ahead.
Before I leave, if you don't know, just go to escott.org, and you can see all the amazing things these young men and women are doing in our community. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Way to go, DJ. Okay, so we are now going to move on to comments and input on the agenda from the public. This section will allow members of the public at the beginning of the meeting to address the council regarding items that are on tonight's business agenda. Questions asked may be responded to during an agenda item following a motion in support from your city council. Because I know we have some new folks in the audience and some new faces, we will have some separate public comment time, 3 minutes of public comment time at the end of the meeting to talk about whatever issues you may want. This particular time for public comment is on agenda items only that are on tonight's business agenda. Again, we will have a separate public comment time, 3 minutes per person at the end of the meeting. Speaking on the agenda, is there anyone on my left? Anyone on my right? Anyone else in the audience? Mr. Warren.
Good evening. On tonight's agenda, points 11 and 12, I wholeheartedly would like for you to support the nomination of Deanna Stachel for a position on the Planning Commission and the Zoning Board of Appeals. And let's see, 3, water main replacement. And I have a question for the director over here, is that some work was done on McDonald and a tree was removed. When my resident called inquiring about a tree, she was asked to pay for a new tree in regards to the water main replacement. So I just need to know from the Department of Public Works, do citizens have to pay for tree replacement in between the street and the sidewalk if a water main has broken and the tree was removed? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Is there anyone else in the audience, comments on the agenda? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Bose. I've been a resident here at Westland for 28 years, today, as a matter of fact. I'm very concerned regarding Proposal 9, switching the area, I live on Norma Street, switching the area that is northeast, that northeast corner into commercial. I hear there's somebody wanting to build a strip mall, grocery, a lot of traffic. There's already a lot of traffic in that area to begin with. And then we also have 2 strip malls, a hop, skip, and a jump away, that are barely in use. So, very concerned about that. And I'm curious if there have been any road studies done in that area, just to show just how much traffic is there and how there's no room to support anymore. So, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Is there anyone else in the audience? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, this is my first time here, so I'm a little nervous, but
welcome.
my name is Connie Smith, and I'm a longtime resident of Westland, and I also have a complaint or concern about item number 9. I feel like there are a lot of unused businesses within Westland, a lot of places that should be utilized, and my concern is it appears that the person who wants to develop that space doesn't have a full plan for the entire building that he's going to be putting in. And my concern is that it's going to end up another vacant business, it's going to end up another blighted area in just a short time. And we're going to give up all that space that, you know, we should be using for residential and for just having a place for the animals to be. So it's a concern for me. And I also feel like that area is already too busy. There's a lot of concern because there's so many businesses that were there that just failed. And so I do have concern with that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Is there anyone on my right? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I was a little confused. I thought we were going in order of agendas, so. Anyways, I'm here about the same thing for the strip mall at Cherry Hill and John Hicks. For my concerns are, first of all, most importantly, is the traffic right there. It's busy all the time. It's very congested. That light at John Hicks and Cherry Hill is backed up quite often on that side of the street at the light. Not so much, you know, going towards the railroad tracks, but it's always backed up. I try to get out of that subdivision all the time, either on Norma or Marie Street, and I always have to wait. If a train is running on the tracks, then it's backed up on this side, and we have to wait until the traffic clears. So my big concern is putting in a strip mall over there with 115 parking spaces and the egress coming out onto Cherry Hill. I know there's going to be one on John Hicks as well, because I saw the plans in the Planning Commission, but I'm extremely concerned about the traffic. And secondly, I'm concerned for rezoning it from residential. I think a lot of people here, there's already malls, strip malls with empty stores on the other 2 sides of John Hicks. So we've got a problem already with stores that aren't being filled, and the main concern is that lady over there, is if this goes in and it doesn't take off, then we've got more empty stores. And we've taken away a place for wildlife, for the wooded area and everything else. So those are my concerns, is traffic, parking, and then of course, our home values, right? If it gets real congested in the properties, it's a bad intersection. Cherry Hill's gotten worse. I don't care if you're going down to Lots Road, if you're at Cherry Hill and John Hicks. It's backed up everywhere now. And we've got a lot of apartment complexes. We've got the nursing home there. And so my concern is not voting for that to be changed from residential. It's not good for our neighborhood or good for the quality of our life here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone on my left? Yes, sir.
Brandon, city and resident of Westland. Item number 9 on the list here as well. Cherry Hill and John Hicks is really not a good spot for a business to go in there. It's primary residential. We only have about a 7-Eleven right on the corner there. You have a catering area that's just right to the southwest of it. You have a lot of residents that are going to have and be impacted if a business goes in or a strip mall goes in there. Their value assessment's going to go down. It's not going to go up. I would strongly suggest that it be declined on the rezoning side and be kept as a residential. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone on my right? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Angela Phelan. I live on Cherry Hill. My concern is on item 9 too. Our driveways are actually on Cherry Hill. There's not a 4-lane road. There's really not much room. Our mailboxes are always getting knocked down as it is. A lot of accidents has been in the past already. We're gonna introduce more traffic to that area. We're not even gonna be able to get out of our driveway. I mean, there's times where I have to wait 7, 8 lights just to get out of my driveway right now. So they're proposing it's gonna be 115 spaces. That's a lot of traffic going in and out. There's a light right there. Like, I don't know how they think that they're gonna do that. Again, like with all the residents, I agree. There's a lot of empty spaces that have not been sufficiated, like Cherry Hill and Wayne Road. I think that would probably be a better place for them to like kind of maybe reutilize it. I'm sure they don't want to, tear down buildings or redown that because that's more money for them. But I think that we need being that Cherry Hill is a two-lane road, we have residents' driveways right on there. There's nowhere we can go. Plus, there's a bunch of, with the woods, there's already, I just think that we should just do it residential. The trees, there's apparently, my husband actually just Googled the property overhead. Did you know there was like a junkyard type of in the back? We would see all that, and it also would, like I said, reduce our property values. I had to reroute myself one day at work, and I just thought, to Livonia where I work, and when I got up to 6th and Farmington, and at first I didn't recognize it, but I was like, oh cool, it's nice that Livonia actually repurposes the old properties of commercial they already have. That's what I think that would be best for Westland, to keep up the property values for everybody and to make it, if they want to have a market, that's fine, but use something that's already open. Like I said, Cherry Hill and Wayne Road, there's 2-lane roads. It's already built. All they have to do is beautify it. That's what we want for Westland. We want to make it nice to have, a nice place to live and attract more businesses and attract more families. But my concern is we're taking all on top of just it being busy, but on top of what we need to do is how are we going to make it attractive for Westland, for families to come in, tax dollars, whatever, to, just keep purchasing and, making the whole community well,
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Anyone on my left? Yes, ma'am, in the pink.
I'm sorry, I'm getting over a cold, so bear with me. My name is Margaret Zimmerman. My family has been a resident since this was a township. So my family has been here for a long time. I also have concern with the Cherry Hill and John Hicks location. I don't believe that's in the works to be widened at all. It's awfully close to the railroad tracks. when a train gets stopped there or comes through, that's just going to be all congested. And I think it's very much a safety hazard for the residents that live in the area. And that's it, before I start coughing.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anyone on my right? Anyone else on my left? Yes, sir.
Michael Seguin, resident of Westland for 50 years. I'm also, I guess the whole building here is against number 9, so I kind of hope you can read the writing on the wall here, because there's already an empty family video store right next door, right across the other side of the road. It's been empty for quite a while. It's plenty of space, and it's already single family zoned, and you're putting 300 houses over there at Marshall School, so obviously we need the housing. So why add one more empty strip mall to the list that we already have in Westland? That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone on my right? Anyone on my left? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we're going to make an exception today. We are closing public comment on the agenda. I do see that our Congresswoman has showed up. So before we start the business agenda, we're going to go back to the Congresswoman to present. Oh, okay, whichever you prefer.
Well, first of all, thank you so much to my residents. It sounds like they don't want number 9, so I'm going to weigh in and say, as a girl that grew up in Southwest Detroit, where they rezoned just a little bit, end up getting worse and worse. So I hope you do listen, and, I mean, they live there, and they should have a right to say no. So I just wanted to, I was just very proud of them coming up here and doing that. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to the city of Westland for consistently working with us. When the federal budget comes up, if I don't have city engagement to tell me what I need to be putting in the budget, I'm not successful. And so all of you, working of course with Mayor Coleman and the administration, we were able to successfully, I think the chief is going to be very happy. I know, I feel like the publishing clearinghouse without the balloons, but we got $2 million for our fire department for the new fire station. This includes to, obviously, for fire station number 4, did I get that right, Chief? And then a new fire engine, so we're really excited about that, but I just wanted to present the check and then get you guys, I know you got a long night before you, but thank you again. You all know fire service is incredibly important, but this has been an issue that the last, 6 years I've been your member of Congress. We've been talking about fire station number 4. I'm really excited about it. I think we're putting in another, Mayor Coleman did put another request in to get some more gap funding for it. So I just can't wait to be there when we finally open it up and get these new fire engines out here in our community. So again, thank you so much. I can present this to the mayor and
Yep,
other
so
members.
the
if
mayor's,
you'd like.
just so folks know, the mayor's going to come down, take a picture, then council's going to come down and take a photo as well. Daryl? Okay. Yep, yep.
Take it to the bank.
Mayor, did you have anything you want to say too?
Yeah, just real quick, I just want to thank the Congresswoman once again for continuing to being a great friend of the city of Westland, supporting our public safety, specifically our fire department. You're making Westland safer with all your great work in Washington, so just thank you so much for all your advocacy for us. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Congresswoman. Yeah.
Chief, I wouldn't go anywhere.
got my heels. Sun should be out. Should be sunny.
Okay, thank you for that, Congresswoman Tlaib. We very much appreciate the work and support for our public safety and our fire department here in the city of Westland. And thank you, Mayor and Council, for all of your support on that. We will now move on to the consent calendar. Is there a motion? Motion by Councilwoman Martin, supported by Councilwoman Rakowski. Are there any changes to the consent calendar? Any changes to the consent calendar? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes.
Council has approved the following consent calendar items: minutes of regular meeting held April 20th, 2026, minutes of study session held April 18th, 2026, approval of Chuck Freeze TNT Fireworks to operate a seasonal temporary fireworks tent in the Bricks West Ridge Shopping Center at 35645 Warren Road from June 24th, 2026 through July 5th, 2026. Hours of operation, 9 a.m. until 10 p.m. daily. Approval of purchase of a video switcher from Creation Networks for the Communications Department. Approval of renewal of the city's existing financial management system. Approval of renewal of the city's existing employee attendance and hours software system for departments of innovation and technology, human resources, and payroll with subscription services. Approval of sale of city-owned property at 31905 Saginaw Court. The Property Disposition Committee recommends the sale of the city-owned property to the first-time home buyer and authorizes the mayor and city clerk to sign closing documents related to the sale of that property on behalf of the city. Adoption of prepared resolution to proclaim May 3rd through the 9th, 2026 as Small Business Week in the city of Westland. And the last item is adoption of prepared resolution to proclaim May 4th through the 8th, 2026 as Economic Development Week in the city of Westland. Moving to payment of voucher.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Councilwoman Rakowski. Is there support? Support. Supported by Councilman Sullivan. Is there any discussion from the maker?
No.
Any discussion from the supporter? No. Any other discussion from the council? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes.
New business item number 1, public hearing for the proposed 2026-27 budget. The public hearing date was set on March 2nd, 2026.
Okay, this is a public hearing on the budget item, only on your 2026-2027 fiscal year budget. So you will have the opportunity, 3 minutes, to speak on the budget itself. But before we get to that, I am going to turn it over to the administration and Director Black with some comments on our fiscal year budget.
Thank you. Good evening. Tonight's public hearing is regarding the city's proposed budget for fiscal year 2026-2027. The proposed budget adds approximately $112,000 to unassigned fund balance and continues the city's focus on operational improvements, police and fire services, road improvements, water and sewer infrastructure improvements, and investing in long-term needs. Some of the highlights include the budget proposes a reduced millage rate of 18.7135 mils due to Headley rollback, over $10 million in grant revenue from federal, state, and local sources to help strengthen emergency response, law enforcement initiatives, and community services. Several staffing and reclassification changes intended to better align positions with current responsibilities and improve service delivery, which includes adding a full-time building inspector position to shift key inspection and technical responsibilities from contracted services to in-house staff. Restructuring within the Department of Public Services aimed at improving efficiency and strengthening operational oversight. Under this reorganization, engineering services will be performed in-house rather than through contracted services, and public works operations will be consolidated under the leadership of one individual instead of two. Adding an additional technology specialist position to improve hardware and application support, increase efficiency in day-to-day issue resolution, and strengthen the city's ability to maintain high service standards for staff and residents. The proposed capital improvement plan includes approximately $18 million in investments for police vehicles, fire engines, rescues, equipment, and station upgrades, park improvements, senior center improvements, historic village upgrades, IT enhancements, and public safety equipment. The budget continues funding for the construction of the new Fire Station 4 and the purchase of a new fire engine. The current station, which was built in 1972, has served the community for 54 years. The replacement facility will improve response times and strengthen public safety services. The project is supported by $3.5 million from the state and $2 million in federal funding. The proposed budget also includes a 6-year capital improvement plan totaling approximately $70.2 million for 87 major and local road projects. This plan is designed to address road repairs, enhance safety, and support the long-term reliability of the city's transportation network. The 6-year capital improvement plan for the water and sewer system totals approximately $38.4 million and focuses on maintaining and modernizing the city's water and sewer infrastructure. In addition, the 26-27 proposed budget includes approximately $788,000 for replacement of aging vehicles and equipment needed to maintain efficient and reliable service delivery. Overall, the proposed 26-27 budget is a balanced budget that focuses on maintaining and improving essential services while making strategic investments in public safety, infrastructure, technology, and city operations.
Thank you, Director Block. As a reminder, this is a public hearing to speak on the fiscal year budget. Is there anyone on my left? Anyone on my right? Is there a motion to close public hearing? Sworn, you guys, come on up.
Now, in regards to this budget, and I do believe, if I'm correct, that it also incorporates number 2, community block grant fund. From what I was told, all this money goes into the general budget. And it's drawn from that. So I'm trying to figure out why do you have an adoption of the community block grant funds when it all ends up in your general budget. And the thing that I was opposed to in regards to your general budget was the appropriate $110,000 to the so-called community policing, which doesn't exist. And that's what I'm opposed to in this particular budget. Since it all goes to one place and one entity does not exist, and you're going to appropriate $110,000 to that entity. And I think that's wrong. I think that the city finances itself off the backs of poor people and poor communities, marginal communities in this city. And so I think that it's just totally wrong. So you guys make your decision from there.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Is there anyone on my right? Anyone on my left? Anyone else in the audience? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Go ahead, sorry. There's a motion to close public hearing by Councilwoman Murkowski. Is there support? Supported by Councilwoman Sampe. Is there any discussion from the maker? Any discussion from the supporter? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, public hearing is closed.
New business, item number 2, adoption of prepared resolution to approve the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, and Home Program Consolidated Plan, Annual Action Plan Financial Statement, July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilwoman Murkowski.
Support.
Supported by Councilwoman Martin. Director Campbell?
Thank you, Council President, and all of the City Council and Mayor Coleman. The City of Westland will receive an estimated $1,038,403 in community development block grant funds, as well as $212,250 in home partnership affordable housing program funds. The city allocates CDBG funds throughout the city in all eligible census tracts. These funds are not specific to the Norwayne and Carver subdivisions, as some people have mentioned, although more is spent in these areas than in other CDBG eligible areas. The CDBG department allocations are a source of revenue to other city departments as approved in the budget. So the federal funds that come to the city are part of the revenue that is part of the city's overall budget. The reason that the CDBG and home budget is approved at this meeting rather than later with the regular city budget is because the application is due to HUD 45 days prior to the start of our fiscal year. So if we waited until the city budget is approved, we would miss the deadline for HUD requirements. We did have 2 public hearings on the CDBG and home budgets. One was at the Community Development Advisory Committee, and the second was here at City Council, as well as a study session with City Council in March. City staff have received no other questions regarding the 2026 proposed budget from City Council nor the public since the public hearing in April.
Okay, thank you, Director Campbell. Is there any discussion from the maker? Any discussion from the supporter?
No.
Any other discussion from the council? Any other discussion from the council? And I just want to say thank you, Director Campbell. Thank you to everybody who provided feedback and input. You know, I certainly understand the point being raised on community policing. So, Mr. Warren, thank you for your input on that. And to the advisory council, thank you for your input on that. I think in future years, we can have, you know, more discussion and dialogue about changes we want to make there. But I do appreciate that, and thank you for bringing that up. And thank you, again, as always, Director Campbell, for your hard work and your team's work, really putting this budget together. Did you have discussion?
Yeah.
Okay, yep, you're like,
Thank you. Thank you, Joanne, for explaining that. I know that you put a lot of time and energy. I was actually attending one of the meetings at Jefferson Barnes and tried to understand kind of where funds are going and moving. I think my concern that was brought up was just that we are filling the gaps in some ways. The question was, are we using our city budget to fill gaps in areas that don't necessarily support communities that really help us receive the grant? So I understand that's kind of where there's some concern. You know, I brought up, which, you know, I can bring up during a follow-up on the budget, is that we're not really spending as much money to improve the Norwayne citizen area. But I know that the mayor does have some updates in terms of roads and such too in this budget. So I guess the concern that was heard is about the community policing. I don't know who wants to take this. It's just if we're explaining a little bit more how that money comes, how that money is determined, and what necessarily are we doing with the community police officers, how they're splitting their time. I think it's just fair, because it was brought up, that we address it.
Chief, did you want to take that?
Well, I mean, we have 2 dedicated community police officers in our Community Services Bureau, headed by Lieutenant Gaddy. They are citywide. They do spend a lot of time in Norwayne, like at Escott Center, the Learning Lab. There's a whole variety. I could talk for about 20 minutes on what their duties are, what they do. We have, like, our kids' safety event this weekend coming up, part of the Autism Awareness Weekend. Our community officers are there to engage, and they are also they do daily patrols. They do a lot more follow-ups with events. And like I said, I could talk forever about it, but it definitely does, even though it's a department-wide philosophy of community policing, we have that dedicated unit for specific problems and specific activities to do, so.
Can I follow up?
Yeah, please.
Okay, through the chair to the police chief, do you feel like for us that we maybe would add another community police officer that be dedicated just to that area? I know that you said it's citywide, but do you feel like there would be value to really focus just on that specific area rather than citywide?
Well, I mean, our patrol shifts do spend a lot of time in Norwayne area as well, so that's something they have to look at, kind of look at strategy-wise, but I'm not thinking of anything like that at this point.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing is, what, dissent?
Sorry, you rolled right into it.
Oh, okay, yep. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Baumann.
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rakowski.
No.
Councilwoman Samby.
No.
Councilman Sullivan.
Yes.
Pro Tem Maxwell.
Yes.
President McDermott.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business, item number 3, approval of bid for professional water main replacement services. Administration recommends low bidder, D'Angelo Brothers.
So moved.
Support.
There's a motion by Councilman Rakowski. There is support from Councilman Sullivan. Is there any discussion from the maker? Any discussion from the supporter? Any other discussion from the council?
No.
Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes.
New business item number 4, adoption of prepared resolution approving the brownfield plan for the former Marshall Middle School located at 35100 Bayview Street. The plan was approved by the WBRA on March 10th and was recommended for approval by administration, and the public hearing was held April 20th, 2026.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Sullivan, supported by Councilwoman Rakowski. I will turn it over to Director Garza before we get to council comments.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you to the honorable body. This is a resolution to the former Marshall Middle School brownfield, which is actually now a functionally obsolete property, which we'll talk a little bit about in a second. This is a $25 million investment that we chatted about last time we were in front of council about the 68 single-family home development. It's a total reimbursement for brownfield eligible activities, which is $1,868,405, which is part of this application. Some of the eligible activities under this application is asbestos abatement activity, demolition costs associated with raising the former Marshall Middle School. Pinchin and Pulte Homes, the petitioners are in attendance tonight. However, since this item exclusively deals with brownfield-related items, I'd like to invite Samantha Marius, our liaison from Fleece and Vanderbrink for our brownfield contractor, up to the podium tonight to provide a summary for the proposed brownfield plan.
Welcome.
Good evening, Council President, honorable body, and thank you, Director Garza, for the introduction. Again, I'm Samantha Marias, Economic Development Manager with Fleece and Vandenbrink, and we are contracted to review brownfield plans as they come in before the BRA and kind of walk them through that process. So I'm here today to present the brownfield plan for the former Marshall Middle School. This was, again, approved by the BRA on March 10th, and then there was a public hearing on April 20th. It is about 19 acres of property on a school that has been closed since 2020 and has fallen into disrepair. The total square footage of that building is over 336,000 square feet, and the total capital investment after the project is complete is anticipated to be $20 million, which represents about $17 million of an increase in taxable value. There's a couple different ways that a property can qualify for brownfield incentives. The first is being contaminated, where we have issues going on in the soil, hence the name brownfield. Years later, we expanded the legislation to include items such as a historic resource, functionally obsolete, blighted, and tax reverted properties. And the property before you for consideration tonight is qualifying for being functionally obsolete, and there's an appendix in the brownfield plan that has an affidavit of that functional obsolescence. And then new to the brownfield game in 2023, the legislature has added in housing development as a qualifier for brownfield properties, but this one being a former school is going to fall under that functionally obsolete piece. As mentioned, we have over $1.8 million in what we consider eligible activities. Under the statute, environmental activities as well as demolition and asbestos abatement can be included. So the primary driver of the burdened cost on redeveloping the site is the demolition and asbestos abatement associated with the property. It is the development team that will be taking on the risk associated with the cost with that demolition. The brownfield is simply a reimbursement of future taxes to help repay for the additional costs to prepare the site as compared to a greenfield site. So though there are no advances being made by the municipality, it's a risk allocation in this instance, and the developer really is taking on all of that risk. So there's no increase in anybody's property taxes except for the properties that are included in this, which then go to be reimbursed for those activities. As your consultant, we go through, next on your agenda is the reimbursement agreement, which is the legally binding mechanism that says this is how the funding flows. And what happens in that instance is the development team's going to prepare a reimbursement request with all of their supporting documentation, invoices, contracts, proofs of payment. And we go through that and do a cost reconciliation. And then that goes back before the BRA to certify that future tax increment revenues can be paid. So there's a significant check and balance that occurs prior to us releasing any of the created increment to go back to the developer. Additionally, your BRA does retain 10% of the increment for its administrative expenditures. In this plan, that is about $409,000. And then after the developer has been repaid for those eligible activities, the municipality has the option to retain an additional 5 years of capture to populate its local brownfield revolving fund, so that is money that stays in the community for you to repurpose for grant and loan purposes and however you see fit under the brownfield statute, which could generate $1.8 million into the local brownfield revolving fund. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. And as mentioned, the development team is also in attendance this evening.
Any questions from the maker? Anything from the supporter? Any questions from the council? Yes,
I have a
Councilwoman.
question.
Yes.
How long will the brownfield continue once it's received?
Statutorily, it can be 30 years. This is a very short plan. We're looking at only about 8 years in this plan, I believe. And that's inclusive of the return of the local brownfield revolving fund dollars. So that's the totality of the length.
I'm sorry, how long was that?
8 years.
8 years, okay. And I believe I talked to Director Garza, and he said something about none of the brownfields will be reimbursed until the whole project is completed?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
All set, Councilwoman? Councilwoman Sampe?
Thank you. So my question is actually to the developer. I don't know if they are able to come up, Council President, if they're here.
Developers.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for being here.
Sure.
So through the chair to you, asking questions, I had a lot of residents reach out to me in concerns for the pricing model for the homes.
Sure.
There's obviously in that neighborhood a very mixed pricing in homes. Are you able to share a little bit more about your elevations and the pricing for the
Is
homes?
this on the brownfield directly, though? Because
Yes, because it's going to be on reimbursement for brownfield of what the prices are going to be, right?
I don't think the pricing of the home affects the brownfield. The brownfield is just for the
It's reimbursement, isn't
the
it?
tear down of,
Mhm.
technically speaking, the taxes.
It's the
Okay.
taxes.
Sorry, I mean to interrupt.
Thank you.
Sure. We're looking to start homes and ideally the high threes, realistically with costs where they are, beginning in the low fours.
Okay, so you're having a mixed bag of elevations that
Yeah.
would be 300,000 to 400,000.
Yeah, is it possible that it could reach into the fives? I don't know, but we're going to
Okay.
offer about 4 different plans,
Okay,
approximately 2,200 square feet to approximately 3,000. Maybe go a
okay.
little bit lower than that, a little bit higher, depending on the options that the buyer would choose.
Okay, so taxable value would be probably rolled in on an average of like 350
That's like,
or so?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All set?
Yep.
Okay. And then I just had a question regarding, you guys are all set from mine. With the brownfield payout, this is not, like a traditional brownfield is often thought of as like an abatement where they get the money up front to go and do the remediation. This is not a tax
This is
abatement.
not. Nope.
This is a after-the-fact kind of reimbursement. The work is done, and then they're doing a tax capture almost on the
Correct.
funds, as opposed to a traditional like kind of handout, corporate handout tax abatement that's just cash for doing a
No,
particular
there's
thing. This
no,
is
yes.
different than that.
This is different than that. Taxes will still be paid in full and can only be reimbursed after we go through that full certification process.
And then it's my understanding too, in talking to Director Garza, that the school district is held harmless, meaning for those who may not know what the held harmless means, the school district will not lose any funding, will not lose any tax capture off this. It strictly affects the city's tax capture.
That is absolutely correct. This is a local-only plan, and even if it were to be a plan in the future that may include the use of school taxes, in the statute, the schools are held harmless, and what we're, noticing in many other communities with the housing brownfield plans in particular, is that schools are actually seeing an increase because these are 3, 4-bedroom homes bringing additional families into the community. So it's actually having a net positive to our school districts.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion from the council? Any other discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes. Thank you.
New business item number 5, approval of reimbursement agreement for the Brownfield redevelopment plan for the former Marshall Middle School.
Motion by Councilman Orkowski, supported by Councilman Martin. Director Garza, did you have anything else you wanted to add here?
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, this honorable body. The only other thing I have to say about this is just the formal vote on the actual agreement itself. We have to separate both items, as we've done in past brownfields. So this, again, just relates to the last item.
Thank you, Director Garza. Anything from the maker? Anything from the supporter? Any other discussion from the council? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes.
New business item number 6, approval of payment in lieu of taxes, a pilot resolution for qualifying 4% tax credit project for the property located on Cherry Hill, west of Merriman, at 4% of annual shelter rents for the length of the Presbyterian Villages of Michigan's debt service.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilwoman Sampe, is there support? Support. Supported by Councilwoman Martin. Director Ray, who wanted to take this? I will. Okay.
Good evening, council. I know there's been some email traffic back and forth on this, so I'll keep this brief. I know the Presbyterian Village folk are here in the audience, and they'll correct me if I butcher the summary here. But basically, what we have here, the next 2 agenda items are 2 separate projects for low-income housing tax credits. This is not a tax credit that's being given by the city. The city is not putting in money into a project or anything like that. This is simply a financing mechanism available through the Michigan State Housing Development Authority that they're looking to take advantage of, and part of that involves getting a pilot resolution. Pilot stands for payment in lieu of taxes, so generally a low-income housing project is exempt from property tax, but what state law does allow for is a payment in lieu of taxes, so it's not as much as one would traditionally receive through the normal property taxation mechanism, but it does provide some revenue to the city in that regard. The reason that there's 2 agenda items is because there's 2 different tax credits being sought, and neither of the levels of those, so one is a 4% tax credit and one is a 9% tax credit, and the 4 and the 9% in that regard doesn't really make much difference to the city, but rather what the city cares about is the fact that the pilot will be calculated based on 4% in both cases of the annual shelter rents. And I know that these folks would be happy to answer any questions that you have, but that is the gist of it, and I'm happy to take questions as well to the extent you guys have any questions.
Absolutely. Thank you, Attorney Grisco. And before I turn it over to the council, Roger, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President, council members, Mr. Mayor, and city staff. I think the city's council did a great job of summing this up. The 2 projects that are before you total 113 apartments that are going to be completely renovated. These are part of the existing Village of Westland campus. We're going to be looking at spending somewhere in excess of $31 million to update those 113 apartments. After that's done, we will then be developing and constructing 35 ranch homes. Then we will renovate the rest of the apartments. So this is really phase 2 of a 4 or 5 phase project. The Pace Center was first, this is second, then the ranch homes and the rest of the renovations. So it's a major redevelopment for the city. It serves moderate to low income seniors and does serve as a form of economic development with all the staff that will be employed there. I have with me the chair of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Westland, Melanie West. We have our Executive Director, Brianna Wallace, Bob Zinzer, who heads up our development activity, and Bill Freeman, our council. And we appreciate the work of the City Council in bringing this before you. I'll be happy to take any questions.
Yeah, thank you. Anything from the maker? And you were the supporter, correct? Yep, Councilman.
Thank you. I actually just wanted to say thank you, Roger. For those in the audience that may not know, watching at home, this was part of a phased approach, as you said, but you guys really delivered on your promise. So that was something several years ago that you brought to us, and you said, hey, PBM wants to go ahead and build this, and you know, it actually came to life. It's beautiful, and it's actually spawned development in that area as well. So it really invigorated that area, so I just want to thank you. I think this is going to be great. Looking forward to phase, 3, 4, 5 as you continue on, but I just want to applaud you guys because you did a great job with the Pace Center, and it's really exciting to see that you really want to grow that property and around that property.
Yeah, I would acknowledge before this body that our schedule has been a bit delayed. I mean, we had a timeline that was laid out, and so we are behind that timeline by a couple of years. So we do appreciate the city's willingness to work with us so that we can get this all done. Thank you.
All set? Any other discussion from the council? I just want to say thank you for this continued investment. I know, there were 3 of us on council at the time when this was brought forward, and it's a big project to really help low-income and, like you said, moderate-income seniors here in our community. And as we know, we have, in Westland in particular, but all across southeast Michigan, an aging population of low-income and moderate-income seniors, and not enough housing really to serve people who are transitioning out of their own, independence from their home and needing to go to a place like this. So to have this development, I think is significant for folks in that demographic and category. So we appreciate the continued investment and support from Presbyterian Villages and your team as well, Roger.
Thank you very much.
And any other dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes.
New business item number 7, approve payment in lieu of taxes, pilot resolution for qualifying 9% tax credit project for the property located on Cherry Hill, west of Merriman, at 4% of annual shelter rents for the length of Presbyterian Villages of Michigan's debt service.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Rakowski. There's support by Councilwoman Sampe.
It's the same, yeah, it's basically the same thing. It's just a different project, a different set of apartments being renovated, but otherwise it's essentially exactly the same.
Thank you, Attorney Grisco. Anything from the maker? Anything from the supporter? Any other discussion from the council? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes.
New business item number 8, approval of proposed rezoning from R1 Single Family Residential to GAR Garden Apartment Residential District at 6013 Newburgh Road. That's north of Ford Road, south of Warren Road. This is Planning Department number 0503E. Planning Commission and Administration recommend approval contingent upon departmental requirements and recommendations.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilwoman Martin. Is there support? Is there support? I will support it. If there's no support. Support. Director Ayub.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, City Council. The subject property here is located on the west side of Newburgh Road between Ford Road and Warren Road. It's comprised of about 2.5 acres and is currently vacant. The petitioner proposes tonight to rezone the property from its current designation of R1 Single Family Residential to our GAR, Garden Apartment Residential Zoning District. This is to facilitate the development of a multi-family development. If the rezoning is approved today, the developer will proceed through site plan approval process, which ends at the Planning Commission level. On June 17th of 2024, the City Council approved a site plan for 6 single-family dwellings at this site. Subsequently, the site was clear-cut for development. However, the project never proceeded due to financial reasons. At least that's what I was told. It has remained vacant with no inquiries as of today for single-family development. There have been a few people who have called for multifamily, suggesting potentially some limitations in the viability of a small-scale single-family project on this parcel. I consider 6 single-family home development to be a small-scale single-family project. Adjacent land uses and zoning. Properties to the north are zoned R1 single-family residential developed by single-family. Properties to the south, the same. Properties to the west, the same. And properties to the east across the street on Newburgh Road there are zoned THR, that's our townhouse residential zoning district, and developed by Sheltering Pines Condominium Complex. The master plan's future land use designation is single-family residential. The Planning Commission held a public hearing at its April 7th Planning Commission meeting and heard from several residents expressing concern about the previous development That did not come to fruition after the property was clear-cut. Mostly their concerns about the property being clear-cut. There were some concerns as well about the proposed apartments not being compatible with the surrounding single-family residential uses. Ultimately, the Planning Commission did vote to recommend approval to have the parcel developed instead of sitting vacant and clear-cut. And I believe the Planning Commission also found the concept plan, which is just a concept plan. Again, it has to go through the approval process. The Planning Commission found that the concept plan mitigated a lot of the concerns expressed by the residents on the record. It's a two-story building, same height that's allowed in the single-family districts. 4 buildings on site with 8 units inside each. Parking and drive aisles, as you can see here internally, without any impact on the exterior perimeter of the site. Again, mitigating lighting and noise generated by that traffic on the adjacent single-family residential neighborhoods, residents. That's all I have. Architect, engineer, and the developer are in the audience. Happy to answer any questions as well.
Please come up. Before I turn it over to the council, anything you'd like to add?
Good afternoon, Mr. President, council members, Mr. Mayor. My name is Salem Saman. I'm an attorney from Plymouth, Michigan. I represent Luxury Investment Development. Mr. Sagir is one of the members and developer of this project. And we have Mr. Khalaf as well, who is the engineer who put this project together. We were at the Planning Commission meeting, and we heard a lot of the concerns that were raised by the surrounding community. And much of the concern was that a previous person came by, wanted to develop homes, and basically took out all the trees and left a vacant lot. One of the things that my client proposes to do, aside from the fact that he's going to build around the perimeter of the property, parking on the inside, but most important, he's going to put a row of trees all the way around it, which will alleviate the issues that the neighbors raised of the privacy. So he's more concerned about privacy for the people that are going to lease from him, as well as the neighbors. So the project is going to have 8 units in each building, well-spaced. It's not going to be high-density type thing, and it's going to be tastefully done. I've got the engineer here that will answer any questions you have, and Mr. Sagir. These apartments are about 1,000 square foot each, and they're going to go anywhere between $1,600 to $1,800 in rent. So, any questions?
Okay, great. Anything from the maker?
I have a question. Right?
Yes, you are the maker. Yep, I'm a supporter.
Are there any amenities, like there's not going to be a swimming pool or anything like that?
No swimming.
Okay, so no gym, no swimming pool, just apartments?
Yes.
And it's 2 stories, correct?
2 stories, correct.
Okay, thank you.
What's that? So I think, given the circumstances here, given that the previous developer started a quarter of the work and then just kind of cut and run on the development, we're sitting there with a vacant and empty lot, so I appreciate you guys bringing this forward. We need more single-family housing in this country. We need more apartment housing in this country. We have a huge shortage. I'd obviously love more public housing. But given our choices, an empty lot or, having this development and bringing more families into Westland and offering, comparatively speaking to apartments that are going up in other communities where they're charging north of $2,000, $2,500, $3,000. Some of those loft apartments that are just basically studio apartments going up downtown Detroit, downtown Dearborn, downtown Plymouth are going for $3,000, $3,500, $4,000 a month. This is, comparatively speaking, quite a bit more affordable than those. So I appreciate the development, appreciate you guys bringing that forward. So thank you for that. Is there any other discussion from the council? Councilwoman Murkowski.
Good evening. Thank you for being here. I tend to share a lot of the sentiments. My concern always is when we start bringing in developments that change scope before they're completed. So the fact that this is starting out garden apartment instead of PUD and becoming an apartment situation is a lot more palatable to me. I also appreciate the fact that you're trying to keep it in a lower housing density for the community. I think that your consideration to the homeowners that already exist there with wanting to maintain the wooded feel is greatly appreciated. But ultimately, that development is a good thing. We're still having the preservation of some of our wooded area, which is fantastic. And it sounds as though you're going to be responsible and mindful as you are building this. So you'll be good neighbors to our residents. So, I don't have really any major concern except for, hopefully it's timely, as less destructive as it possibly could be, and that the scope doesn't change in the middle of the run. So, seeing those satisfied, I'm satisfied. So thank you for your development to our community.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman McCoskey. Councilman Sullivan?
Yeah, thank you, Council President. So I'm going to be a no vote on this. It's nothing against you or your development. This looks like it's a good plan, but I just generally not for rezoning from residential to add more apartments into the city. I think we need more single-family homes. That's what this is zoned for. That's what's supposed to be going here. That's what their master plan calls for. And that's what all of the surrounding areas are. And I heard from a number of residents that they don't like the idea of having apartments going in there when it's all homes to the north, the west, the south. And the only thing you have opposite, or that's not residential in that area, is actually on the other side of Newburgh Road. So again, it's nothing against your development. I'm sure you develop great properties. I would hope you could find something that's currently zoned for apartments where you could build these. But I just don't want to approve a change in residential zoning that's surrounded by all residents to add more apartments into the city. I would prefer we hold out and try to get some homes or condos in this area. Yeah.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Baumann?
Yes, thank you. I actually, I've gone back and forth on this, and I even called a couple of my realtor friends, because I know we always talk about wanting density, because more housing, we don't have enough housing, all the conversations, we don't have enough housing, we don't have, the pricing of housing, affordability, all the big conversation. I think one of my hesitancies, and through the chair, I'm not sure if this would be asked by Director Ayub or our petitioner, is, as I understand, this is a concept plan. So with a site plan, if we approve this rezoning, what happens next? Because one of my hesitations as well was, I didn't love the look of what it is, and I did see the other property, and I'm going to be honest, in Dearborn, and I thought, if we're going to change zoning from single-family residential, I want it to look less industrial. I want it to look more like a home. There's a way to make these outside look like a home, just bigger, and you have more people in it, but I was not excited about what I saw. So I guess my question is that when it comes to a site plan, what happens next? Because my understanding, this is a concept, and this is not really, we're not approving the site plan, we're just approving the rezoning. So what happens with that?
Director, do you want to?
Sure. So the developer will need a month or two to prepare a set of plans, which includes floor plans, site plan, elevation drawings, landscape plans, engineering plans for the parking lot and such. Once those are submitted, they will go through a review with all of the department heads that need to review. Once all of the department heads sign off, we will present it to the Planning Commission. People will get noticed, and the Planning Commission will ultimately approve, deny, or approve with conditions. I do not suspect that the plan will change greatly from what's on your screen today, unless there's a big engineering issue, but they have seemed to have dug into that piece a little bit with this concept plan, the engineering part anyways.
And so the site plan would not come through to council again, it would just go through the Planning Commission, or would it come back to council?
It will go through an extensive review process with the administration and Planning Commission and their.
It would not come back through council again? Okay, because I even just looking at this, trees are great, but of course, having too many or not knowing what the elevation, what the height of the tree is, there's a lot of considerations. And so I really hesitate on this because of the two things, and I don't know what to say, because I did hear the people at the planning commission come forward and be very concerned. Because when you add some density to single family, it's not always the best thing. So I'm so hesitant on what I want to do with this. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not really sure where I'm going to land when it comes to a vote. So just wanted to share that.
All set, Councilwoman? Councilwoman Sampe.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing this forward. I do believe that Councilman Sullivan brought up a good point. It is difficult when we take and we zone from the residential, because people are looking for affordable housing, and housing is a premier, I believe, in Westland. So I appreciate the opportunity to plant trees around there. As Councilwoman Baumann said, I'm not excitedly thrilled with the look of it either, which is looking up Newburgh. There's a more cohesive look, I believe, for apartments. So I'm going to have to think about this, because I did receive a few calls from individuals that clearly stated they were against it. So just wanted to thank you for bringing it forward. I guess through the chair to Mo, can you just say on the record, how long has it been since anyone has showed any interest in this property?
Well, let's see here. The project was originally approved for the 6 single-family homes that I mentioned on June 17th of 2024. The previous developer that you approved for those homes kind of dabbled with the property for about a year, dealing with DTE and clear cutting. And then after that, there was a sign that just magically appeared on the property. Well, not magically, but appeared on the property. I received maybe a half dozen to a dozen calls about multifamily, 0 single-family interest. So it's been almost 2 years with the previous owner dealing with it for about a year.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Councilwoman Baumann.
So do we have, and the chair, do we have options to delay this vote for more information at all? I mean, is there any, or and that was something that came to me, someone has suggested, is there any way to get more information about the site plan or anything like that? Is there any way, I don't know, I'm just asking.
Director Ayub, go ahead.
What other information is missing? This is a rezoning case.
Yeah.
Right, okay, that's fine.
All set? Is there any other discussion from the council? Any other discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Yes. Roll call.
Councilwoman Baumann.
No.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rakowski.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sampe.
No.
Councilman Sullivan. No. Pro Tem Maxwell.
Yes.
President McDermott.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business, item number 9, approval of proposed rezoning from R2 Single Family Residential to CB1 Low Intensity Commercial Business District. This is parcel number 56051990060000. This is located at the northeast corner of Cherry Hill and John Hicks. Planning Department number 1253D. Planning Commission recommends denial. Administration recommends approval.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilwoman Rakowski. Who supported it? Councilwoman Sampe. Okay, Director Ayub.
Thank you, Council President. Full disclosure, I'm not related to the applicant. I know there's a letter off there at the end, but just wanted to put that on the record. The subject property here, it's a vacant parcel totaling about 5.5 acres. It's situated at the northeast quadrant of Cherry Hill Road and John Hicks Road intersection. This intersection functions as an important access point for surrounding residential neighborhoods. The applicant tonight is requesting to rezone the property from R2 Single Family Residential to CB1 Low Intensity Commercial Business. This is the city's least intensive commercial zoning classification, and this proposal is to facilitate the development of a neighborhood serving grocery store and retail plaza. Property to the north is zoned R2, single-family residential. It's developed by a single-family dwelling that appears to be being used for some sort of landscaping business or auto storage facility. Properties to the south are zoned R2, single-family residential, developed by single-family dwellings. Property to the east is zoned GAR, Garden Apartment Residential, and developed by Cherry Hill Place. It's a multifamily living community. And property to the west is zoned PUD and developed by a retail plaza. The master plan's future land use designation indicates single-family residential for this site. We are going through the master plan update process right now, which I think you know, and we are this is one of maybe a dozen or so sites that we are revisiting the future land use designation, but potentially, depending on what I hear tonight, maybe not. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on this on April 7th. It heard from several residents expressing concerns about traffic, potential increase in traffic and existing traffic, which we associate primarily with the existing railroad tracks. We also heard about incompatibilities of a commercial use within the residential area, and the Planning Commission ultimately is recommending denial. Happy to answer any questions on behalf of the Planning Department, the petitioners, and the audience as well. Thank you.
Would the petitioner like to come forward?
Good evening. Keep those smiles going, I like that. Anyway, this is a proposal to redevelop this property. It's a low-intensity strip mall. The developer is here, the engineer as well is here to answer any questions. The main building is going to house a grocery store, meat market, and bakery of some sort. And it's the kind of a operation that is primarily for the local residents. They're not going to attract people from 2-3 miles away. This is primarily for local residents. It's a specialty type of operation. One of the things that I heard earlier tonight from residents who oppose this was, well, they're going to build 2 other buildings. We don't know what's going to go in there, and then we're going to end up with an empty, vacant property. Trust me when I tell you that if the developer who's spending a good chunk of money on this thought for a minute that he's not going to be able to lease it to businesses that are compatible to what he's developing. He's not going to bring something that's not going to be compatible to what he's developing. So I think those issues could be dealt with. As far as the traffic is concerned, we'll be more than glad to do a traffic study and commission a traffic study to make sure that this is not going to be that intense, create a problem. There's going to be entrances and exits on both Hicks and Cherry Hill. There's going to be sufficient parking for about 150 cars, so it's not going to be a very condensed type of a structure. There's going to be some nice landscaping all around the property, and I think it's something that will enhance that area. So any questions that you have, the developer's here, the engineer's here.
Did you want to, as a developer, come up and say anything before we turn it over to the council?
How's it going, Colin?
Anything you wanted to add first before we turn it
Oh,
over to the council? Oh, okay. Anything from the maker?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Rakowski.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening. Thank you for continuing to stand here and your interest in the city of Westland. Way back in 1990, at the diagonally sat strip mall, there used to be a Little Caesars. There used to be a little knitting and craft store. And that was my mom's. And that's where I had my 10th birthday party. So I'm having a big challenge because I've watched that strip mall now for another 30 years plus, and I see that sometimes it's kind of occupied, but it's never really fully occupied, and then the family video thing goes in and out, and, you know, the 7-Eleven is now, you know, kind of transformed, and, you know, I can see why you would want to pick the area. I understand that. But I also, you know, I understand some of my colleagues' feelings about changing from single-family to multifamily. But that's staying in a residential feeling, right? When we change from something that's residential into commercial or even light industrial, we're really changing the whole feeling of what that, the purpose of that lot would be for. And so because I personally have experience in the area, and I think your cause is very worthy, don't misunderstand that. However, I am against zoning it out of any type of residential. So there's concerns there. I know that your hope and your industrial capitalist spirit is probably in the right place, but I think there's a better location for you in the city without us having to completely rezone a district. So I wish you the best of luck. I really do. But you just won't have my support this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Rakowski. Anything from the supporter?
Councilwoman Rakowski kind of summed it up. I think when you look at that area in particular, I mean, it is very residential focus. Not saying that you're going to jump out like a sore thumb, but you may. I do think that you should stick around in different areas. I know their economic development director left, but I think there's probably better areas that would be more of a fit. I know Cherry Hill is a nightmare, so thank you for bringing that up. My in-laws live right at Cherry Hill and Hicks, and it takes us forever to get there. So I guess when you look at the parking situation of 150 cars coming in, and I think Westland wants you, but Westland, similar to petitioners that have come up before, we're like, let's get, maybe, come to Westland, let's get a better fit. That happened when we had a car wash. They wanted one area, and we're like, okay, that's a sensitive topic for car washes in Westland, but but we're like, I don't think here, maybe go here. But, you know, I appreciate your investment. I think sometimes knowing the area and looking at this and hearing kind of traffic and residents and such, it just, that area is so small. I know that you guys feel that, right? It's like a tight area, and there's a lot of stuff going on there, and we're going to add a new fire station, and it's going to be crazy. So I appreciate your investment. It's not that I don't support this project, it's the location.
Gotcha.
So, but I hope you stay
Thank you.
in Westland. I hope we can find a better location for you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Baumann?
And thank you. And I'm just gonna, I know not to be too redundant, but I really would like you guys to try, you know, it would, depending on what happens. Obviously, if it passes, great. If it doesn't pass, I would share the sentiments to please look at other areas in Westland, because there are other areas that are, because I think, you know, the hesitancy to take it out of residential completely is definitely harder to do than even just going from residential to residential. So I hope you appreciate that we want this, we want development, but the right area matters. Thanks.
We're going to go Councilman Sullivan, and then I'll get you next. Councilman Sullivan.
Thank you. Just to echo the comments of Councilwoman Sampian, Councilwoman Rakowski, and you already heard me speak. You probably really don't like me today, but I don't like rezoning from residential, and I don't think that's a good thing to do in this area. I know you brought up that this is for the surrounding residents that are going to use this, and I haven't heard from a single resident that says that they want this. I've spoke to some residents in the area, and they said they're more than happy to drive down the road to get their groceries or to get what they need. They also pointed out there's a strip mall right across the way, there's a 7-Eleven right across the road that if they need to get something quick that they can go to. I've also dealt with the traffic issues there. My father-in-law lives in the condos right next to that. Most days trying to get out of there and make a left is next to impossible. So adding more traffic to that area is just not going to be a good thing. Again, I hope you'll still want to develop in the city if this doesn't get passed. We have a lot of areas that I think would be far more appropriate for what you're trying to do here, but I just don't support rezoning this from residential to build what you're looking to do here.
Thank you, Sullivan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Sullivan. Councilwoman Martin.
I have a little different take on this. I've driven from Telegraph to Wayne Road to come home from work. There's not one grocery store from Telegraph to Wayne Road. And you're asking to put in a grocery store. And what's happening is Canton has grown crazy. So if we develop it or not develop it, we're still going to get the same 100,000 people that come down Cherry Hill. Sadly, we can't expand the road, but I'm going to vote for this. I'm probably the only one here, but I appreciate that you invest with us, and please come back and see us.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion from the council? Any other discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Baumann.
No.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rakowski.
No.
Councilwoman Sampe.
No.
Councilman Sullivan.
No.
Pro Tem Maxwell.
No.
President McDermott.
No.
Motion fails. New business, item number 10, approval of special land use for a proposed smoke and vape shop at 8047 North Wayne Road. This is the north side of Cowan Road, west of Wayne. Planning Division number 1458B, Planning Commission Administration recommends approval.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Sullivan. Is there support? Supported by Councilwoman Martin. Director Ayub.
Thank you, Council President. The petitioner tonight is seeking special land use approval to occupy a vacant approximately 2,000 square foot unit for a smoke and vape shop within the existing retail plaza. The smoke and vape shop will open Monday through Sunday, 10 a.m. through 11 p.m. The site is zone CB3, that's our general commercial business district, and it was developed under a previously approved site plan, which it complies with. Smoke and vape shop businesses are subject to special land use approval. The City Council, at the time of the new zoning ordinance rewrite, wanted to regulate their location, specifically limiting proximity to school zones. There are no school zones in the immediate area of the subject site. The Planning Commission held a public hearing at its April 7th Planning Commission meeting for this case as well, and is recommending approval. As mentioned, historically speaking, and probably you'll find throughout the region and maybe state even as well, smoke shops are typically permitted by right. You often find smoke items and vape items at other small retail shops like gas station, convenience stores, and such. However, we had one that located right across the street from Wayne Memorial, causing some issues for students walking to school. The City Council was adamant that it wanted to protect those children walking to near school zones, and so we essentially limited them or reclassified them as special land uses. So it's really to prevent them from locating to schools again, which this one is not. Happy to answer any questions. The young man in the audience is the business owner who can answer questions as well. Thank you.
Before we turn it over to the council, anything you'd like to add?
Not really, no. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. Sorry, I'm a little nervous here. I don't really do this much, but I'll give you guys a little background, actually, of what you guys should expect to come to Westland. I have 3 partners, not including myself, total 4 partners that I've been that I've known for 15-plus years. We already own a smoke shop in Taylor, Michigan. We do want to bring what we have over there to your guys' city. What we have over there originally started off as just a smoke shop. Didn't have much to it. It was pretty basic. We decided down the line that we wanted to turn into something a little more. So we decided to add a clothing and shoe store inside of it, which started off a little slow until we understood the business. What we want to do in Westland is make it half-half. We plan to make it half a shoe store, clothing store, half a smoke shop, which would carry items such as retro Jordans, essentials, and Nike brands, and all types of different things. So that's pretty much what we plan to bring here. And as Director Ayub just stated, that a big concern for the city is underage sales. I have 3 partners, not including myself. We are the owner and operators. We don't hire workers. We run these stores ourselves, and a big thing for all of us is we do not sell underage. And that is not something we have to push on employees to make sure they don't do it, because there are no employees. We run these stores ourselves, and we do not plan on selling to anyone underage. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have.
Okay, anything from the maker? No. Anything from the supporter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Antoinette. Martin. Okay, why this spot? Am I correct in assuming that you are 3, maybe 4 storefronts away from Marco's?
From what?
From Marco's?
Marco's, the liquor store?
Yes.
Yeah, we're about
And they
3 or 4
sell
stores.
vape and all that stuff too?
That's correct.
Okay. So why this spot?
Well, originally, we liked it. We liked the plaza it was in, the stores it was next to, the plazas around, I'm sorry, not the plazas, the apartments around it, the community. It just seemed like a good fit. I double-checked and made sure we were away from all churches, schools, at least 1,000-plus feet away from everything that I would not want to be too near. And it seemed like a good area for me.
No, I understand that. Another smoke shop doesn't really make me happy.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's why we're not just a regular smoke shop. We're more of I plan on making our shoe and clothing brand a lot bigger than what it is right now, and I want to start it in Westland, because I don't plan on stopping in Westland. What I'm trying to do here, I plan on building more of it, but I do want to start here.
Okay, so when you build up this shoe business, will you move it to the mall? Thank you, that's all.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Rakowski.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for being here. First I want to thank Director Ayub for hearing us, and I mean, I know it's, I guess by statute at this point for the council, but, and thank you for your patience as we consider this a special land use. It was very important that any of the new smoke shops and, other vices, but especially the smoke shops when they're by schools, that we can kind of make sure everything's good. Not saying that smoke shops are ever nefarious, but we just want to, protect our children in the community. That being said, I look at middle schoolers all day long that are wearing essentials, and they're all sneakerheads and all of that. So I would assume that since it's primarily on the front-facing side of smoke shop, that they wouldn't be able to enter the premises without an adult person, or would they be able to enter the premises and just shop?
So a big thing for me is I don't allow smoking in my store.
Okay.
There's absolutely no smoking in my store. 2 reasons for that is what you just stated, kids coming in, because kids do come in. They come, they like to buy clothes, like to shop around, see what we have. And then, so I don't allow none of that to happen in the store.
Yeah.
And also, it's never been an issue yet.
Never been an
Parents
issue,
don't
okay.
have a problem with it. Parents actually bring their kids in. Because
Yeah.
again, we're very friendly people. We encourage people to come in, and we do not mix up the sales. If a kid wants to buy an essential, like I say, a shirt, and says he wants a vape as well, ID is needed no matter what.
Sure.
And if he's old enough, we're more than happy to sell him what he wants.
Right.
If he's not, he can stick to the clothing side, shop
Yeah.
around.
Well, I don't want to assume how old you are, but you look like you could be younger too. So, some of these kids look a lot older than they look. So I appreciate the fact that you're conscientious of that. I think it's great. We don't have as many clothing and shoe options, so I love that part. Could take or leave the other part, but, our job isn't necessarily to decide what your business is. Our job is to decide if your business in and of itself fits in, especially with the land use. So because it's not around a school, I don't have any personal qualms with it. But I'm more excited about your shopping opportunities that you're providing. And I do appreciate the fact that you and your partners are the owner-operators. So, when I bring in my 11-year-old to shop for some Nikes and he tries to buy a vape, which he'll do just because he thinks he's funny, don't disappoint me,
Of course not.
because I know people. Okay, all right, well, yeah, I'm looking forward to the clothing. I think that's great. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Bauman.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for your interest in Westland. I actually will be a no on this, I'm going to say that, is because I actually, when I look at even the information, it's like, I wish it wasn't a vape shop. I wish it wasn't, because I don't know that our city actually needs another one. I think the other side of your business, I love, but I can't toss the two together for me. For me, I also think it's, even though you're not near a school, you are near some residential areas, high-density residential areas, where there are kids. I see the bus stops. And so I just, there's an element, and I will say that I have personal experience with kids, and when they can walk in and they have easy access to get vapes, I'm not saying you would do that, I'm not saying they would do that, but they just walk in with a big kid, next thing I know, they've got a vape in their hand, and I've had too many situations with that, with kids having that, and then they sell it to somebody else, and it just gets really, so I'm not, and I'm looking at this as need for the proposed use. Based on available information, there's no demonstrated need for an additional smoking and vape shops in the area, and so that will actually constitute my no vote. I'm just going to share that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bauman. Any other discussion from the council? Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bauman.
No.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Councilwoman Markowski.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sampe.
Yes.
Councilman Sullivan.
Yes.
Pro Tem Maxwell.
Yes.
President McDermott.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Best of luck on your next meeting.
New business, item number 11, nomination of member to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a 3-year term effective upon confirmation and to expire May 6, 2029. Deanna Adams Stachow has submitted a letter requesting consideration for reappointment.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Martin, supported by Councilman Sullivan. We have to actually have a formal nomination now. Are you wanting to nominate?
I move to nominate Deanna Adams Stachow to whatever she wants.
There's a,
The zoning board of appeals.
there's an initial motion to open nominations from Councilwoman Martin, supported by Councilman Sullivan.
My
And then
apologies.
Councilwoman Martin has made a nomination of Deanna Adams Stachow for the ZBA liaison. Slash Queen of Westland, from the Planning Commission. Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? There's a motion to close nominations by Councilwoman Sampe, supported by Councilwoman Markowski. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing seeing none. Nominations are closed.
New business item number 12, appointment of Deanna Adams Stachow to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a 3-year term effective upon confirmation and to expire May 6, 2029.
Motion by Councilwoman Markowski, supported by Councilwoman Sampe. Any discussion from the maker?
Thank you, Council President. Deanna has just been such a wonderful cheerleader of all things Westland. She has been involved in so many different facets of our community. The fact that she wants to continue and serve the residents, and just one of the various ways that she continues to be of service to us. just makes me overjoyed. So I appreciate her drive and her community service, and I'm just pleased as punch as she wants to continue to be active in our community. So I'd just like to say a preemptive thank you to Deanna.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Anything from the supporter?
Sure. I'll also say thank you, Deanna, if you're watching this. We appreciate your commitment for sticking around and your commitment to Westland. I know that she is also a Planning Commission member, so she's just continuing to re-up and do additional things in Westland, which is really important. So, Deanna, if you're watching this, thank you for your commitment. I think it's going to pass.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Martin.
Like I said, Deanna can be on any board she wants because she's so into Westland. She's only been here about 10 years. And I think on year one, day one, is when she started to volunteer. And when you call her up, she doesn't have time to see you because her calendar is filled. So, and most of it is Westland business. And we thank her for everything, her and her husband. Thank you.
Any other discussion from the council? Any other discussion? I will just say thank you to Deanna as well for stepping up. I know, we reappointed her, the mayor reappointed her to Planning Commission. She's done a great job there on the Planning Commission, serving the residents here in this community. She's thoughtful. She asks good and poignant questions. She takes the time to go out and look at the sites that she's voting on and approving. So that is always appreciated when you have someone on a board or commission or council that takes that time to do the job that they're elected or appointed to do. So we appreciate her due diligence always on that, and she will be a continued asset here in this role. Is there any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes. Okay. We will now move on to public comment. Everyone speaking before the council should do so in a civil manner. Speakers should refrain from abusive or profane remarks, vulgar language, disruptive outbursts, threats, racial slurs, or other conduct that interferes with the orderly conduct of the business meeting. Personal attacks on council members, the administration, city staff, or other speakers or members of the public do not promote civil discourse. Comments shall be directed to the chair and not to the people in the audience. The chair shall call to order any person who is being disorderly by speaking when not having been recognized by the chair or is being disruptive to the proceedings. If any person, after being called to order, continues to be disorderly, creating a public 13 disturbance, the chair may order that person removed from the meeting immediately. Is there anyone on my right? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Tricia. I'm from Garden City. I'm not a Westland resident. About 5 years ago, I stood right here for the first time to have William Asper removed from the mayoral ballot. It passed. He was removed. Now, I know I only have 3 minutes, but I'm so nervous because this has taken so long to do. It's been 5 years. 2 years ago, a year and a half, 2 years ago, we handed the Department of Justice evidence, videos, photographs, a victim list. They put together a civil and a criminal case against him, and they're pursuing it. We have been told that no such sexual assault reports have been filed in Westland against William Asper. I know that's false, because I accompanied victims of his. The big question right now is he is committing real estate fraud. He is a licensed realtor. He does not belong to a brokerage. He is not legally allowed to sell. He is selling properties currently in the city of Westland. The other issue is he is still continuing to go into his tenants' homes without their knowledge in the middle of the night, take videos of them, take pictures of their children, and use that to harass them, threaten them with losing their housing, threaten them with felony charges. He has had neighbors go and attack his tenants because he wanted something else. I have a very special young lady today with us that I brought up from Monroe, and she has been horribly traumatized for the last 8 years. Not only here in Westland, but in Monroe, where William's mother is a county commissioner and a state mandated reporter. We want to know why, with all of these police reports and all of these accusations and all of the evidence that we have compiled and put together and can hand over to you. I'm sure all of you have seen the Facebook page. If you haven't, it's Women Against William Asper. I will hand you over everything on that page. He needs to be off the streets. He is a danger to women. He is a danger to men. He is a danger to children. About 4 years ago, he had a child, and he put out a video that said that he now had a son who he could use to record his inappropriate actions with women. It's on Facebook. It's out there. This is a predator, and he needs to.
Thank you. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, I know.
I appreciate it.
3
Your
minutes.
time is up. Yep, thank you. Is there anyone on my left? Yes, Ms. Hines.
Good afternoon, Council. I just left the Wayne Westland Board of Education meeting. So we have a new superintendent, which is Dr. Koss. Right now, we're working on a very aggressive recruitment strategy to get some more kids back to Wayne Westland School, so we're super excited about that. And then I would like to say, sitting as a Wayne County Women's Commissioner, and I work for like the Westland District, we had our 4th annual Wayne County Resource Fair. We had 88 companies registered, but we had over 100 companies and vendors and over 600 registered participants. So I definitely like to get with somebody on this council and see if we can have something similar in Westland, because it was super, I mean, it was well attended. And so I definitely like to bring those resources down here because we're in Detroit. So, but a lot of people from Wayne and Detroit came as well. And then 2, I'm the president of the Wayne Westland Kiwanis, so we're trying to get some people to join. It's a very important program, especially with literacy. We've done a new program with the school with letters, so it's been able to help the kids read a lot better, because after that COVID, a lot of kids got behind. And so, again, with the Westland Kiwanis, we meet on the 1st and 3rd Tuesday of every month at the Westland Library at 5:30. And now we're looking to change our location to Los Amigos. So we're working on that to make it more festive and really try to help the community. So definitely come help a kid, especially if you're like retired, you know, you want to do something valuable. We have over 50 kids over at John Glenn High School in the Key Club that's doing amazing programs. They're doing fundraising. So we want to keep the club alive, but we definitely would like some help. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Hines. And on my right. Yes, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brian Goucher. I was a former tenant of Mr. Asper. And in my time in dealings with him, I have seen him do a lot of different things. And lately, because I was illegally evicted from that house that I rented from him, I purchased a house in Inkster, and I moved out. He has been following me. He has been stalking my house. He has threatened to burn my house to the ground. And every time I have tried to take legal action against this man, I have been denied. Yet every legal action that he has taken against me and my family has been approved. He got a pre-PO against us. Yet he continues to violate that same PPO by making contact, stalking our house, and he just will not stop. I don't know what more I can do about it, but I'm hoping somebody can put an end to this, because this is actually terrifying me. He has got me scared to walk out my door, and I have no idea where to turn. And I'm hoping somebody can help. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone on my left? Yes, Mrs. Warren.
Good evening. My name is Donna Young.
On June the 19th at 5:30 to 8:30, the Southeast Homeowners Association with Yosemite Church and Christ Temple, yes, Mike, will be doing a Juneteenth celebration. We would like to invite the mayor, deputy mayor, city council, and the community to attend the celebration. But in order to have a celebration, you need to know what you're celebrating. So our speaker will be Darwin Griffin of the NAACP and radio talk show host of Truth to Power. There will be a follow after his speech. He will do a follow-up with a question and answer session. We will have fun for the kids, community programs, information, food trucks, and music. This celebration will be the first of an annual event. Thank you. And I have cards for anybody that wants them.
Thank you, Donna. And is there anyone on my right? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, guys. I met William when I was a teenager. Like she said, the number one word I would describe him is predator. I was a Westland, I lived in Westland for 3 years, and I was diagnosed with colon cancer when I was 21. I moved back home to Monroe. William is my current landlord and has been trying to evict me since 2 weeks after I moved in, constantly. He's lost every single eviction. He not only is always there, but he's constantly like driving around my mom's house as well. He walks in my house whenever he wants to. He will, like, if I'm sleeping, he'll like leave the attic door open just to like let me know that like he was there. I've videos and stuff. He is always trying to get me indicted. There's always some type of false narrative that he's created. One of the tenant and employee of his that physically attacked me 2 days after one of my cancer surgeries, it's just a lot going on, and I can't escape him. I know that his mom has a lot to do with like all of the like trauma and stuff. He sexually assaulted me as well. He continues to try to, but like I said, I'm 26 now. I met him when I was a teenager. He makes comments about my nieces, like sexual comments. He makes comments about my skin color, my body. He just doesn't have anything nice to say. And I'm tired. I feel like my life does not belong to me. And like the narrative that he's created kind of like has like the like police just like always around my house, and it's just I'm tired. I got to the point where I just didn't want to be alive anymore, and I still sometimes don't, because like this man just has like so much control, and his mom he's a mommy's boy, and she's an elected official who makes all his problems disappear. So yeah, he's a terrible man, and he's
And I'm very
Yeah,
sorry your time
full
is
of
up, but
pain.
thank you for coming up here and sharing that with all of us. Thank you so very much. I know that's very difficult. Thank you. On my left. Yes, ma'am.
Now, this is going to be a little bit different. Irene Seguin, Berry Street, Ford Road. I was wondering what's going on with that big green house on Ford Road. It used to be like a halfway house. I've lived there on Berry Street for 40 years, and it's always been occupied by gentlemen who don't have their total faculties. All of a sudden, it looks like it's empty. They got a big dumpster, and there are personal health papers floating all over the place. Like they took all the records that were in the building maybe and just threw them out in the dumpster, and you can see progress reports from different people floating right down the street. I'm just kind of wondering what's happening. Did they close it down? Did they lose their funding? We've never had hassle with it. The people walk up and down the street talking to themselves, but they've never bothered anybody. And all of a sudden, it's empty. And I just kind of wonder if the donut shop next door is going to run them out. I don't know what's going on with that too, so. No, seriously, I just don't know what's going on with that greenhouse. We've lived there for so long, and it's just part of the neighborhood, and now something's going on. And those papers ought not be floating around the streets. They're personal HIPAA-type papers.
Right.
Somebody dropped the ball there. So just kind of wondering.
Yeah, certainly. If you want to stay after the meeting, we can come and talk to you.
Well, I have the address for you if you want it.
Yeah, and we're all well aware of the house.
Okay.
In my case in particular, I had a relative stay there
Okay, I'd
years
just
ago.
like to know. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Yeah,
then.
we'll
Thank
stay
you.
after and talk to you. Is there anyone on my right? Yes, sir.
Good evening, council. I am also a victim of William Asper. As you heard from the young lady who was just up here, it takes a very strong individual to come forward, one who has never spoke out before. My question that I have to city council as well as the police chief, why is he still on the streets? With all of the criminal accusations that are listed in the civil lawsuit, you can legally act without a formal police report being filed. We, the people of Westland, are asking, please, 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 get this man off the street so that he cannot victimize anybody else, so that he is not able to do this to anyone, anywhere, anytime. I'm going to ask if you're able to please stay after so that we, the victims, can speak to you and give you the actual evidence that we have, even more evidence, to be able to put him away for a very long time. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone on my left? Mr. Warren.
Well, that's a perfect example of non-police community relations. Otherwise, if you had community police officers, they would be able to follow up on this very clearly. One question is that, through the president to the mayor's office, if your DPW digs up a tree in front of someone's home, does that person have to pay for that tree to be replaced? Okay, well, that's a question, but
Your comments?
what I didn't hear from the police chief was that the Carver subdivision also has an input on those federal funds. It is marked for federal funds in the Carver subdivision, where I live. I didn't hear you mention that. And maybe that's because you don't patrol it. But it's all in all, and one together, those federal funds come to Norway, and those federal funds come directly to the Carver subdivision. In regards to federal funds, the Carver subdivision only gets about $40,000 a year for the two church programs. So if any other hundreds of thousands, those millions, they're going somewhere else. Okay, I just want to let you know. So not much development has occurred in the Carver subdivision with those community development funds. They've all been just disappearing into the budget of what you just voted to do. Okay, so maybe we can work something out in regards to the Carver subdivision, Chief. Thank you.
Or did you want to respond, or you want to wait till your? because he's got a minute 13 left, so.
Okay, yeah, I'll just take a moment. Yeah, Mr. Warren, thank you for the question about the trees. If a tree is dug up as part of a construction project near a resident's home, they can request a replacement tree. We do have a tree fund that will cover the cost of it. So I would ask the resident to contact the mayor's office or DPS. We can be contacted just through the City Hall's main line, extension 9, or my email, mayor@cityofwestland.com. Be happy to look into that and get her tree replaced. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Anyone on my right? Yes.
Good evening, Council. As you may have seen, I've been coming to these for about half a year now, and I've tried my best not to miss any of the meetings. This will be my first time speaking at one, though. I'm Owen Phillips. I've lived in Westland my entire life of 23 whole years now. And as you may well recognize, I'm usually one of the youngest members in attendance at these meetings. So I think I'm going to have to speak on behalf of all the other younger members of Westland. I appreciate the fact that, I appreciate how the votes went for the residential rezoning. I do believe that Westland needs more places for people to live that don't cost so much, so that our younger residents actually have a place to move out when they become of age, or have somewhere to move to if they're just younger in general and don't have the money to buy a $500,000 home, but still don't want to live with their parents by the time they're 30. So I ask that you all think of that in any future rezoning ideas, and I appreciate how the rezoning went tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And on my left, yes, sir.
Thank you for being here, doing your jobs. Thank you for serving us, the community. I just want to remind everyone that we all wear hats, and sometimes I wear hats too, to remind people of what we do and our responsibilities to the community. We also have a responsibility to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Let's make sure that we remember that we are accountable to Him. Without the Christian church, I want to put this out, I don't know if many people know this, but without the Christian church, many people in impoverished places and many different races would probably still be illiterate if it weren't for the Christian church. That being said, listen to WMUZ. Politics and Praise, this is our venue here, politics, but it's really enlightening. I would just encourage you all to listen to it, 4 to 7. I was troubled a little bit here in hearing things from the last few weeks. People being threatened or feeling harassed, and that's pretty sad. People shouldn't live in that kind of fear. They shouldn't have to feel as though they need protection. It's unfortunate that we live in a situation in a very interesting time frame where things that are said, whether they be true or false, can come and incriminate us all. I also was troubled too when we see people support different things, and those same people that they support end up threatening people, Christians, and other people. I don't know if you all know who Hassan Piker is, but Hassan Piker has been a big advocate for Abdul Saeed. I don't know why anybody would support him, and that's not, frankly, my business. But I would just definitely encourage that anybody who does, doesn't. It doesn't say a whole lot to the person's integrity if they're trying to protect the community that they serve by endorsing someone who's openly against ICE, against presidents, against municipalities that would try and protect the citizens of this country, this state, this community. I don't know what it says about someone who supports another person like that. I hope and pray that you all stay safe, be safe, and that God keeps in your hearts and your minds that you can also forgive and that we can forgive
Thank you.
those people that threaten us. Thank you. Have a good day.
And is there anyone on my right? Anyone on my left? Anyone else in the audience? Okay. Seeing and hearing none, we will close public comment and move on to comments from the administration. Mayor Coleman?
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, City Council. Thank you to everybody who spoke tonight and took the time to attend this meeting, and to all of our city staff and police officers that are here today as well. I want to thank again Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib for her continued support of public safety in Westland and presenting a check to celebrate the $2 million community project funding she secured for the upcoming rebuild of our Fire Station 4, which has been a big goal of ours for a long time now. As you know, tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. I want to suggest a great way to celebrate is to visit one of our many outstanding Mexican restaurants in Westland. If you ever pay attention to my social media, you'll see I eat a lot of Mexican food, so I'll probably be out there too. We've had several great events across Westland the last few weeks, including our Earth Day event in partnership with Hayes Elementary. Thank you, Livonia Public Schools and Hayes, for hosting that great event. We had our annual Youth Assistance Recognition Dinner, our annual Canine Corral Cleanup, our Autism Walk, Historic Village Park Cleanup, Westland Youth Athletic Association Opening Day, Ceremony and Parade. We had our annual Spring Electronics Recycling event, and the Westland firefighters held their charity ball last weekend. And that's just a few of the events that we've had the last few weeks in the city. So I want to thank all of our city staff and elected officials for supporting all the great events that we continue to do in the city of Westland. We have a few more great events coming up as well, including our Family Jamboree at the Jefferson Barnes Community Vitality Center, Wednesday, May 6th, from 5 to 7 p.m. Join us for crafts, entertainment, ball tournament, pizza, raffles, and more. On Saturday, May 9th, the Westland Police and Fire Departments will host Kids Safety Day from 2 to 5 p.m. at Central City Park. There'll be a bounce house, face painting, a DJ, free goodies, and handouts. The Westland Farmers Market opens for the season on Thursday, May 14th. It's 3 to 7 p.m. at Central City Park. Join us Friday, May 15th at 4 p.m. at Central City Park for a very special City of Westland 60th birthday party. Former mayors will speak on their time in office. We'll recognize several businesses that have been around for the last 60 years, since 1966. There'll be food trucks, music, beverage tent, and we'll end the evening with a spectacular birthday-themed drone show right there at Central City Park. Again, that's Friday, May 15th, 4 p.m. Going into the evening. Friday, May 8th is the 13th anniversary of the line of duty death of firefighter Brian Wolke, who passed in 2013. Please take a moment to say a prayer for Brian and his family on this date. Sunday, May 10th is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to my mom. And thank you for everything you've done for me, and thank you to all the moms out there. Happy Mother's Day. We just want to touch on one more thing. We've recognized that Priority Waste, our trash hauler, has been chronically behind schedule the last couple of weeks. I want to let City Council know, and I did send you an email last week, but I want to let City Council know that we've been in constant communication with everybody there at Priority, and several dozen Westland residents who've had issues with their pickup. We've let Priority know that we expect better service from them going forward if we're going to continue the contract. Unfortunately, they've had some changes in their organization, and some of the drivers were behind schedule due to spring cleanup and more garbage than they could apparently handle. But I just want to let everybody know that we continue to stay on top of Priority and demand better service from them. That's all from me, but I'd like to ask that we recognize Deputy Mayor Jim Godbout on behalf of the administration as well.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you for your kind words and comments at the last meeting. They were truly appreciated. Unfortunately, I need to address something that continues to be misrepresented. Councilwoman Sampy's account of our February 9th phone call was not accurate. This is not a matter of opinion or interpretation. It's a matter of facts and following established city procedures. What's concerning is it's not just a single incident, but a pattern. Time and again, comments are made during council meetings that criticize the mayor and administration without any opportunity for response, since council comments occur after comments from the administration. If this were isolated, it would be one thing, but it happens regularly. Let's talk about process. There's a long-standing procedure for using city facilities. Requests must be submitted, reviewed for conflicts, and approved. Fees are applied based on a schedule, and any request to waive those fees must come before council for approval. Fire and police stations are not on the fee schedule because we don't rent them out to groups. I don't know what the manpower costs were for the Goodfellows event, but I would hazard a guess that it was significantly more than what we would normally charge groups, since we would use park rangers or DPS to assist, not on-duty firefighters. This process has been in place for years and is followed by organizations across our community every day. In this case, none of that happened. There was no formal request, no review, and no council approval to waive fees or authorize the use of city personnel. Yet at that same meeting, council approved fee waivers for several nonprofit groups that did follow the process. During our 16-minute phone conversation, I reached out to discuss concerns: parking, logistics, use of an active fire station, and a scheduling conflict with another city event. I also suggested alternative options and locations, including working with Parks and Rec, who already had an Easter egg hunt scheduled. I heard a raft of excuses on why that wouldn't work. The point of my phone call to the councilwoman was to see what could be done. I never mentioned canceling the event. When called out by the mayor about her comments, she apologized to the mayor and then said, quote, "You did not say no. Actually, it was your deputy mayor who said, absolutely not. You cannot do it." That was a lie. At no point during the call did I say the event should be canceled. In fact, it was Councilwoman Sampy who brought up canceling when she commented under the veiled threat, quote, "I don't want to say the mayor's office wants us to cancel," unquote. After discussion with the mayor the next morning, he decided to make an exception and let the event proceed, and called Councilwoman Sampy to let her know. It was a successful event. Congratulations. But success after the fact does not justify ignoring procedures, nor does it excuse lying and mischaracterizing what took place. So why after the fact did the councilwoman feel it necessary to criticize the mayor and lie about not only his involvement or lack thereof for a private group who used city facilities and personnel without proper authorization? Why, when the mayor commented back, did the councilwoman lie again and shift the blame to me? The councilwoman's continually lied, abused her position, bypassed procedure, and then once again wants to play the victim. This is the way this council person's been operating and attacking the administration since Mayor Coleman was elected.
This is getting out of hand.
Fortunately, I documented the phone conversation. I did so because after having dealt with the councilwoman for several years, I know there are actual facts in Councilwoman Sampy's version. What is concerning is the pattern: bypassing processes and procedures, then shifting responsibility lying, and presenting a version of facts or of events that
We are
does not
getting into
align with the
personal
facts. That does a disservice not only to this council, but to the residents who expect honesty and accountability from all of us.
Deputy Mayor.
Moving forward, I hope we can all commit to following established processes and working collaboratively to serve residents in an honest, transparent, and professional manner. Thank you, Mayor, for giving me the opportunity to set the record straight.
Councilwoman?
Thank you so much, Council President, for recognizing me. This sounds like a planned attack from the mayor to shift to Deputy Mayor Godbout. For him to come in here and decide to tell the facts, I don't know why every meeting we've brought this up. Now this is the third time that has been brought up. So I'm trying to understand how this has continued to be brought up. It's continued to attack Sampy. It's continued to go after her when there's no standard operating procedure. I have not received, there's no document that exists. If that was a document that would need to be emailed out, that needs to be emailed out. But we're talking about Westland children here. It doesn't matter if it's the Westland Goodfellows, it doesn't matter if the city. The Goodfellows did the event. We talked to the fire department. Councilwoman Rakowski was in the car when the phone call took place. She understands exactly where I was at with the conversation. The conversation clearly went that it was not an ideal location, the event should be canceled. So I stand by that. That's totally fine if you want to continue to go back and forth, but this is just ridiculous. This is week after week after week. Let it go. I don't understand why we're continuing to bring it up. The mayor yields his time. I don't understand what the fascination is with this event. This is crazy. This is crazy for this to even continue to happen. We have never transitioned to allow a deputy mayor to attack a sitting council member. I don't understand this tonight at all. Go ahead, Mayor.
It was the other way around, wasn't it? You accused him of something.
This was weeks ago, Mayor. This was weeks ago.
So was that Easter egg hunt.
All right, one person at a time. Please continue, and then I'll let you speak.
I have nothing left to say. This is a planned attack towards me. This has been a planned attack for many years. Many years. It's continuing to take Councilwoman Sampy to make her look bad. This is why it continues online with the people that are associated and supportive of the administration. I have no problem with the administration. I enjoy working with you. But again, this is a planned attack every week. Yes, it is. It's happened 3 weeks in a row.
Then let's not make accusations about myself and my staff in the future. Councilwoman, thank you.
I have nothing to say. I really don't. This is absolutely insane that this is, I've never seen such high school behavior.
Do you have anything you want to respond? Okay. All right, anything from the city attorney's office this evening?
Sure. I understand there's been some comments tonight concerning the landlord that we're all aware of. And I just want to remind the council that to the extent you're engaged with citizens about that topic or even other topics, that there is actively litigation between the city and that individual's trust. And so consequently, I would just ask the council to bear in mind, the traditional advice that we give is no comment on pending litigation to the extent that council is asked about those issues. The other thing I would say is that, and I appreciate people coming to share their perspective and their dealings and their hardships. As far as evidence of a criminal nature goes, the appropriate forum for that is with our law enforcement, which I would encourage the residents to coordinate through the police chief. And just to be clear, I'm not suggesting that the city council actively solicit evidence from residents, but rather that should be directed to the police department. And of course, as I said, there is a civil case going on. And so to the extent there's evidence related to our civil case, that would be appropriately directed through the administration to my office. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We will now begin council comments this evening with Councilwoman Rakowski.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening once again. Good late evening for those of you following along. I was just very encouraged by all of the citizen participation this evening, not only in our public hearings, but also with a myriad of comments that were left during citizens' comments before and after the meeting. I'm the one who called the chief and asked for the chief's permission. So I think, like, though whatever conflict that's happening and continuing to happen, I'm the one who called the chief. I'm the one who didn't have the SOP, because there's never been one given to council. There's never been a standard operating procedure given to council. But I'm not the one who received any of the flack. I don't know. I just, if we're going to talk about one person and their misgivings, or they're a liar, or they're a whatever, and then somebody's going to throw it back, let's have clear facts. I talked to the chief. I'm the one who made the big mistake of talking to the fire chief. It was me. It was me.
It's not a mistake. You didn't make any accusations.
Okay, but I just want to make sure that, like, we're all aware of all of the things, right? So let's not blame the Goodfellows as an organization. We can blame council. I'm not going to fight with you. I'm just trying to make sure that all the pieces of information that are part of this collective web of whatever it is sorted. So I apologize to the administration for not knowing the standard operating procedure, because I haven't had to be a part of a nonprofit seeking to use city resources. And I apologize to the chief for putting him in a position that he thought that a procedure had been followed. I don't know the procedure. I called the guy who runs the building. I mean, I don't know. So, long story short, it wasn't the Goodfellows who, messed up on where we can have an Easter egg hunt. It wasn't Melissa who made the phone call. It was me. And so I just want you to know that. It was me. So if I can have the standard operating procedure, I mean, I know you're well aware because she told you that it was me who spoke with the chief. So for that part of all things Easter egg hunt history of the year 2026, it was me. It was me. So anyway, moving on. As I said, thank you to everyone who is participating. Looking forward to celebrating my mother. I'm fortunate. She still gets to be a part of my life and on this earthly plane. However, there's lots of women and other individuals who don't get to spend Mother's Day in a feeling of celebration. There's some people who wish they could be, had the chance and it disappeared, lost children, lost their mothers. There's women that act in a motherly capacity for those around them, and we should honor them too. So when we say Happy Mother's Day, we should also make sure that we're being aware of people whose Mother's Days are just a little bit harder and more difficult. So I'm going to go home and hug my mother, who's watching my son, so that I can serve you. And with that, I just bid you a good night. Again, great apologies. Look forward to sitting down with you and getting that procedure. And I won't act on behalf of a nonprofit ever again. Have I?
No, you haven't.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, there we go. I wish you all peace and, gosh, all the love in the world. Let's just find some peaceful existence, please, for the sake of all of us. Good night.
Thank you, Councilwoman Rakowski. We will now hear from Councilwoman Martin.
My turn. Great. I have a couple quick things to say. Thank you, Rashida, for the $2 million. Westland can really use it. Happy Cinco de Mayo tomorrow. Everybody be safe. And happy Mother's Day to my mother, Rosie. And all those people that showed up today, thank you for being brave. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Councilwoman Martin. We'll now hear from Councilwoman Sampe.
Thank you so much. I just want to thank everyone that came this evening to speak, specifically on a topic that is upsetting. You know, as a woman and a member of this community, I think it's upsetting to hear that individuals feel unsafe in their home. They feel like they have to choose between their security and their dignity. No tenant, male or female, should ever have to feel like that at all by an individual. I just want to acknowledge the courage that it took to come this evening and speak out. I am aware there is a page. I do follow that page as well. And I think your voices matter and they need to get heard, especially if you feel unsafe in your home. And I understand that obviously the legal process takes time. As our city attorney had mentioned that, you know, the situation takes a minute, it takes a minute to be reviewed, but I think accountability is essential at this moment. And I feel like, you know, I urge this body to stay after. I urge the police chief, and I know we have some police officers, to stay after, to document. I know that you guys gave all of us a packet right here with conversations and information, which is extremely helpful. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know, or sometimes we don't know what's in process. As stated by our city attorney, it's, you know, for us, we don't just go and file police reports on behalf of people. So, you know, I hope that, like I said, the police can hear you, share your stories. I hope the mayor can stay after, council members stay after to hear the stories. So we really can hold people accountable for their actions, because again, we should offer a safe community. So thank you again for speaking out. I also want to thank the firefighters that were involved in the annual firefighters ball. It took place this weekend, and happy International Firefighters Day to our firefighters. David Polite, Brian Swayzing, and Rich DG, I know that they do it time over time, but a great effort to raise money for great funds. I just wanted to also thank everyone who was part of the Autism Acceptance Walk. Myself and Mayor Coleman, we were the hosts. This was our third annual Autism Community Day and Walk. It took place on the 25th. I saw many in here that were here today that showed up, but I wanted to give a huge thank you to Planning Committee members, the Fire Chief Daryl Stamper, the Deputy Police Chief Bob Wilkie, Kyle Mulligan, Don Nicholson, Gretchen Still, Debbie Hunt, and Rob Jaswicki. And I wanted to thank our presenting sponsor, Terra Behavioral Therapy Center for Autism. They were a new sponsor this year. The Westland Professional Firefighters provided all of our lawn activities. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib donated, allowing us to have free food for everyone. Soleil Construction, Hennessy Engineers, and then our event sponsors, Services to Enhance Potential, which is STEP, Hygira Health, Bartos Distributing for their ice cream donation, Don Nicholson Enterprises did all of our printing, the Westland Police Partnership, Senator Dana Polhanke, Public Service Credit Union, Communication is Key, Garden City Hospital, and Livonia Westland Chamber. It's a lot of people that came together to recognize those in our community with autism or special needs. It actually drew in 500 people from not even Westland, from all over. So it's a worthy event. It's something 3 years ago I came to the mayor and asked him if we could do it, and he said, let's do it. So we did it, and here we are 3 years later. I wanted to say happy Mother's Day to my mom, Debbie, my mother-in-law, Linda, and all the Westland mothers, and those that are mothers on City Council. So our next meeting is going to be the 18th of May at 7. We invite residents to come out, go ahead and share this date with anyone, and until then, be safe and kind with one another, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sampe. We'll now hear from Councilman Sullivan.
All right, I'll be brief. Like everyone else, happy Mother's Day. This Sunday's Mother's Day. And I hope those of you that can get a chance to celebrate with your mothers, or also a happy Mother's Day out to all the substitute mothers out there. There's a lot of people that step up into that role of a mother that aren't maybe the natural mother, and you all deserve to be recognized as well. Also wanted to state that I'm looking forward to the opening of the Westland Farmers Market next Thursday, May 14th. It's always a sign of summer, actually almost being here, so I enjoy going up there and looking at all the different crafts and things that people have there, so just great to see that we finally hit the season where that's going to be starting. And also looking forward to the 60th anniversary celebration for the city. That's next Friday, the 15th, at Central City Park, and looking forward to all of the festivities and everything that's going to happen there. It's kind of a big event for the city, 60 years since our existence. A little bit behind the 250th anniversary that's being celebrated this year too, but it's very important for the city, and I hope everyone gets a chance to at least stop by for a little while on the 15th at Central City Park to partake in the festivities. Other than that, have a great evening, and look forward to seeing everybody at the next meeting.
Thank you, Councilman Sullivan. We will now hear from Councilwoman Baumann.
Thank you. First, I do want to thank all the people that came to our meeting today and who spoke out. I remember when I was first on that side and spending years, it can be very intimidating to be talking on that side of, until you get more used to it, whatever, but, and then even then, when you have something like to say that's really, kind of from the heart, you start shaking, and I get it. So I want to thank everybody that actually spoke out, because you are, however it is, whether you're doing your civil duty to bring things to attention, and that's the opportunity you have in front of a board like this, is to be able to have those minutes to talk. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it is important to exercise that. So I'm actually really grateful that people did come forward and talk about all the different things on the agenda and, what they're concerned with in our city, because that is a great way, obviously you can reach any of us directly, but also this is a great way to exercise that free speech again. So I do want to recognize that. I do want to say congratulations to Deanna Satchow for her reappointment to the zoning board. And I think I'm going to close with Happy Mother's Day. And for those who are like me, I do have Happy Mother's Day to my fellow moms in the area, but those who are like me who do not have their mom with them anymore, do something special to honor. If you don't have your mom with me, do something special to honor her. I'm actually going to say that I'm going to honor a request she had. It's been 10 years, almost 10 years, and she made a request that all of her kids plant a magnolia tree in their yard. And I think I'm going to do that this year, finally. So I'm going to honor my mom. And actually, the last thing, so I encourage people to do that too. No Stone Unturned at the Inspire Theater. Tickets are on sale Friday, June 12th through, anyway, 28th through June 28th, June 12th through 28th at Inspire Theater. Show up. I'm really fascinated to see this one, because I think it's going to be a fun little script. Anyway, thank you, and see you in 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Baumann. We'll now hear from Pro Tem Maxwell. Got it. You'll be on today.
I'll be very brief as well. My asthma is bothering me tonight, but thank you to the residents for coming out. I want to wish everyone a happy Cinco de Mayo as well, and happy Mother's Day to everyone. I lost my mother 13 years ago. It's not a great day for me, but I spend time with my sisters, so yeah, I just want everybody to enjoy their time with their mother, enjoy her while she's here, and I will see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Pro Tem Maxwell. A few things from me tonight. I want to thank Paul Motz and his team for a great youth assistance dinner. As always, honoring youth in our community who've managed to turn it around and get their lives on the right track is hugely important, and Paul and his entire team do a great job. So thank you, Paul, for another great youth assistance dinner. Thank you to your entire team for the work you do year-round, and to the amazing kids who are turning their lives around, who are doing better, and who are participating in the Youth Assistance Program. Congratulations on all the hard work and dedication and really getting on the right track. I want to thank Director Kyle Mulligan for organizing a great dog park cleanup. I was able to be there in the morning for part of the dog park cleanup, took my dog Jetta there. She did steal a chocolate donut out of a kid's hand, so I apologize to the kid that Jetta stole the donut from, so I'm really sorry about that. Our Deputy Parks and Rec Director, Jackie Smith, made sure to point that out to me at the event. So my dog was okay from eating a donut, and the kid was, missing a donut, so I do apologize about that. And thank you to the mother of that child for actually coming up and telling Jackie and being more concerned for my dog eating a chocolate donut than your child losing a donut. So again, I'm very sorry that my dog was naughty and inappropriate, so thank you for not yelling at me about that. I want to thank the mayor and Councilwoman Sampe for the autism event. I wasn't able to make it this year because I had a family commitment in the afternoon. I've been to the last couple of events that they've had in years past. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make this one, but I heard the stories, saw the photos online. It looked like another tremendous event with a great turnout. Looks like it was bigger and better this year than in years past. They grew up from right here at City Hall in its first iteration all the way to where it is today over at Tatton and Central City Park. So great job both on another autism awareness event. I want to thank, as was already mentioned, the leadership of the Westland Professional Firefighters, Local 1279, including Rich Deege, Dave Polite, Brian Schwazing, for putting on another wonderful charity ball event. That event is not only important for our firefighters, but it's important to honor those firefighters that we lost. And the money that's raised at that charity event often goes to benefiting the families of the late Brian Wolke and the late Todd Stanaway. And not only does that event, do those funds go to honor them and support their families, but also this day, International Firefighters Day. We celebrate International Firefighters Day here in Westland and across the country because we honor firefighters like Brian Wolke and Todd Stanaway, who died in line-of-duty related deaths and paid the ultimate sacrifice. So not only do we honor the memory of firefighter Stanaway and firefighter Wolke, but we honor their families as well, who lost a loved one, families who lost a father, who lost a brother, who lost a husband, and who lost a friend. So we honor Todd and Brian's memories on today, International Firefighters Day as well. I want to thank the administration and our Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib for bringing home over $2 million for our fire station and fire service here in the city of Westland. That is going to be a much-needed continued investment as we work to build a new fire station and buy some new fire equipment, including a new rescues and a new ladder truck as well. And then, last but not least, if you have anything that you need from me, you can reach out to me at 734-890-2146. I know that many of you have reached out to me over the last couple of weeks regarding the priority waste service or the poor service that Priority has been providing. Hopefully, we are turning a page in that and getting that corrected. And I know this is not the first time that we have dealt with this issue with priority waste over the last couple of years with missed pickups and delayed pickups, and it's unacceptable, and it's a huge problem. And I'm sorry for those of you that have had missed and skipped service. And I know, the administration and council were on top of it, trying to hold Priority to account for the service. And then I will close with this. To the victims that came today to share their story with Mr. Asper, your story does not go unheard. We know that obviously there is ongoing litigation, so there's only so much we can say. But believe me when I say that I think everybody on this council, the administration, we are on your side. We have heard you. Some of us have had the chance to talk with you and share information that we know in the past. It's very disturbing. It's very troubling. It is repugnant to hear the details and stories that we have had to hear about the way that this individual has treated human beings, has treated his tenants, and has violated and abused people's rights. It is abhorrent. It is repugnant. Many of us are, I think all of us are, and many in the community who have heard your story, rightly disgusted. Disgusted. And, I know that this individual uses his size and stature to fee-fi-fo-fum and intimidate people, but we will not be intimidated. We hope that you will not be intimidated, that you will continue to speak out, that you will continue to share your story, and that where appropriate, the facts will come to light in the court of law. And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?